Hey, welcome to Transformation in 10. Today is Thursday. Normally I release this on a weekly basis on Wednesdays. And really that's what I want to talk to you about today. Telling myself for a minute, give you some biblical and kingdom insight and encourage your heart. So yesterday, being Wednesday, I was working all day to come up with what to say to you. What to put here on this week's edition of Transformation in 10, and I couldn't come up with anything. The Lord was quiet in my heart, my spirit, my mind was unfruitful, and I'm sure you don't know what that's like at all. But nevertheless, I was really just struggling, frankly, all day. And this week, I'd actually been in an in-depth study on the glory of God coming out of last Sunday, because there's something that's emerging out of that word that God gave us Sunday. For those that were in service or caught the replay here on our channel, so we were, God shifted that service and really just released a word about the glory of God. So I felt like the Lord saying, dive deeper into that. So that's what I've been doing this week, and frankly anticipating that this week's Transformation in 10 would be some of that material. But as I was really preparing to get ready for this, I got nothing. And I've struggled all day with that, wrestled with it, and just couldn't get anything. And I was reminded that there are some times when God will walk us through a strategic emptiness. So really it's kind of like, man, I'm wrestling in my mind, I'm wrestling in prayer, I'm going through the scriptures, going through all of the work I've done prep-wise, and nothing. You see, what happens when God is in something, when God is breathing in something, releasing a direction in your life, there's a spark, a divine spark where the Holy Spirit himself touches something, and you just know in your spirit. The old church would have said, you know in your knower, but you know in your spirit. The Lord is highlighting this, emphasizing this, and when you begin to pour into that and focus on it, the Holy Spirit takes that spark and turns it into a flame. And so that's what I was anticipating happening, and nothing. So very frustrated. And so late yesterday evening, in fact, I was still working to try to put something up, and it just occurred to me. The Lord just gently in my spirit reminded me, be still and know that I'm God. And it caught my attention because I'm like, that's the voice of the Lord. But I still didn't get any material to share on here with you. So it's like, okay, so what do I do? And as I've meditated upon it, I believe I've got an instruction for all of us. And as I reflected back over last night and this morning on that experience yesterday, I feel like this is the Lord giving us an insight. There are some shifts, prophetically, I'm speaking now, that are going to begin coming, where those who have been striving are going to come into some releases that your striving can't make happen. When God says, be still and know I'm God, he's talking about settling down. Settle your heart, settle your mind, settle your spirit. And so as I've been reflecting back over this after the Lord dropped that on me, here's what I feel like the Lord's saying to us. He's saying, I want you to get into a quiet place. Quietness doesn't mean you're not working, doesn't mean you're not reaching, doesn't mean you're not pursuing, it doesn't mean you're not praying. It means that in all of your efforts, whether it's to hear from God, to get a breakthrough, to achieve something that is in your heart, or maybe it's just been a really extended season for you of going after something and seeking God and, declaring, decreeing, and imploring the heavens, as it were. The Lord is saying, get in a quiet place. Get in a quiet place. Jesus told the crowd he was teaching in Luke 12, he said, consider the lilies. They don't toil. They don't strive. And yet Solomon, in all of his glory and splendor, was not clothed in the level of beauty and glory that they have. And the word consider means to stop, think about, contemplate, and pay attention to it. Work through it quietly. So out of that, be still and know that I am God, there comes a place where the Lord is saying, I want you to just sit before me and listen. Be quiet. In our quietness, we get clarity. In our quietness, we get direction. In our quietness, we get peace. In our quietness, we get renewal. You know, there's something powerful that I want to remind you about. You probably already know this, but there is no fear in the presence of God. I want to say that again. There is no fear in the presence of God. And when we are striving for something, I mean, we are contending and pressing and warring and just working overtime. It's that word toil. Jesus said they don't toil. They don't strive. In the quietness of being what the Father designed them to be, the Father supplies what they need. Again, it doesn't mean that you don't go after things. It means that the success in prayer, in breakthrough, in direction, in rest, in getting free from anxiety, and getting free from the fruitless labor, the fruitlessness, that breakthrough, the secret of overcoming that is found in the quietness. I believe the Lord is saying, I want to bring my people into a place where I show them that when they just get quiet before me, I renew their strength, I calm their fears, I help them overcome and heal from their anxieties, I empower them to move forward, I give clarity, I give creativity, I give direction, I renew strength, I replenish joy, I bring brand new wisdom. I release and unveil the spirit of revelation that will help you move forward. So I want to share that with you today and tell on myself because, man, I'm telling you, I was really striving all day yesterday to hear from God in direction for our time this week and couldn't hear anything. And God in his genius, the Holy Spirit in his genius, dropped that on me last night. Be still. Get quiet. Leave the results to me. Stop striving. I've got this. So I believe that is a word for all of us. For some, it'll be more of a direct prophetic word. It'll say, aha, you're going to get an aha moment out of this. But for all of us, it's an indication to come into a deeper, sweeter place. It's not just about being deep for deepness' sake. It's about the sweetness that comes from just sitting in his presence. You know, I have no doubt that because of the level of prayer, prayer is a lot of things. But we need to make sure that when we're praying, we're carving out space to just sit and listen. What's the least that will happen when you get quiet in God's presence privately and you just sit? You just listen. You consider the lilies. They don't toil, they don't spin. They don't toil or spin. They don't exhaust themselves trying to produce an outcome or a result. They don't have the strength to make happen. And when you do that, God then begins to supply you. Get in the quiet place and listen. The least that will happen is your mind and your heart will become renewed. More than likely, what's going to begin to happen is the Spirit of the Lord is going to begin speaking to you in ways that replenish you, that move you, that help you get free from the intensity of the anxiety that you've been dealing with, whether it's just like a right now thing or if it's been an extended period that you've been dealing with that. Most likely, in addition to those things, the Lord's going to begin dropping some real clarity and having crucial conversations with your heart, your mind, and your spirit that really move you to the next level. I believe we're coming into that season. I really do. I don't mean that as preacher or cliche or church talk. I mean it with all my heart. I believe the Lord is saying, I'm going to begin releasing some things that it's time for things to move and it's time for me to do what you've been toiling to get me to do, and I wouldn't do them. And when you get quiet, and be still and know I'm God, I will be exalted among the heavens. I will do what I told you I would do. Get quiet. I want to talk to you. Get ready for some crucial conversations. Get quiet. There is no fear in the presence of God. Until next time, thanks for connecting. Be well.